Welcome to the Kaiser podcast series on applying world-class standards at a local level. In today's globalized world, it's imperative to strive for excellence in all areas of life. Achieving this could be a daunting task, especially for individuals and organizations operating at a local level. In this series, we'll explore the key principles and best practices that enable local communities to achieve global standards in their respective fields. You will receive insight and tips on how you can apply these same strategies in your own context. If you're an aspiring business leader looking to compete on a global scale, this podcast is for you. So join us as we explore the exciting world of world-class standards at a local level. Remember, this is Construction Kaiser, and we're impacting today towards a sustainable future. Welcome to the second episode of the Kaiser podcast series on applying world-class standards at a local level. When we say local, are we talking Nigeria? Are we talking Lagos? I think we're looking bigger than local. I think we're actually looking global. And for that, I'm going to coin the word glocal. So we would be looking at standards, world-class standards at a glocal level. Today, we'll be talking about how we can eradicate building collapses, how construction companies can eradicate building collapses in Nigeria. It's been a sad couple of weeks, to be honest. I would say that the biggest one for this year has been the Banana Island collapse this year, 2023. And then in quick succession was the collapse in Abuja, and then the second collapse also in Lagos, somewhere around Ladipo. It's been really, really sad because there had not only been loss of property, but there has also been loss of lives. And with me today, I have three eminent engineers, current registered, well experienced, almost 60 years experience sitting on this table of engineers from Construction Kaiser Limited who will be sharing their ideas on how they think building collapses can be prevented in Nigeria. My name is Jamila Fani, and with me is
Chinedu Osonwa.
Okay, Chinedu Osonwa, current registered, by the way.
My name is Johnson Olubusayo Joseph.
Hi, Joseph. Welcome.
Thank you.
I am Pius Obedike.
Okay, Pius, thank you very much for joining us. Okay, like I said, the discussion today is about the collapses that we have been experiencing in Nigeria. And we're thinking, what even are the causes of these collapses? And what can we do as Nigerians in whatever strata of this society that we find ourselves? What can we do to prevent this? So Chinedu, can you please share some of the ideas that you may have on what actually is the cause of these collapses and, other points that you may have, you may want to share with us?
Okay, thank you, Jamila. So there are several things that can lead to building collapse in Nigeria, anywhere in the world. And from my own experience, there are the basic collapse or the basic things that can easily make a building to collapse is what I can term to be defective design, which you can easily call poor design.
Okay.
So there are some preliminary checks or feasibility checks that you can do as an engineer before engaging yourself or starting up a design. And one of it is by doing the soil test, and also testing the reinforcements, checking everything that will help you, including the water.
Wow.
Because when you also want to use water, it has to be potable water.
Okay.
So because there are several things that you need to do. And another one is the use of substandard materials, which is common in this country. I'm sorry to say it, but that is what it is. So these are, basic things, that leads to building collapse in this country.
Wow, Chinedu. I think you have actually gone really deep already on this topic, and we have even gone as far as the quality of the water that needs to be used during construction. And I also think that, agencies like the Standard Organization of Nigeria have a lot to do when it comes to ensuring that the right materials or the right quality of materials are what is available for use in Nigeria. Pius, can you just, add to what Chinedu has said, and if possible, tell us what do you even think we can do to eradicate such situations in Nigeria?
Thank you very much, Jamila. In addition to what my colleague just said, a lot of times we'll notice some engineers cut corners. Yes, for instance, you have a building approval for, let's say, 8 floors, and you look around, you see, man, this can take about 10. You've already gotten approval for 8, and you decide to go higher than that. A lot of times, it has led to building failures. If they decide to update or review the design, they are supposed to go back to the building authority to see if actually that area can actually accommodate. Because in one of the things we are supposed, which is the soil test,
Yes.
is to know the load bearing capacity of that
that
place.
soil, yes.
That is why we do that. So cutting corners is also one of the reasons why building collapses happen.
And we can say this cutting corners is mostly done by quacks, because I don't know that any engineer in his right, in his right, I'm sorry to say, right mind, will want to do anything that he knows will jeopardize his profession and the lives and property of his client or the people. Thank you, Pius. Joseph, I'm going to come straight to you. And we're still talking about the same topic, eradication. How can we ensure that these collapses do not happen or are even totally eliminated in our society? Because every time something like that happens, there's a beam light, there's a searchlight that is beamed on the engineering industry. So anyone that is involved in construction now, gets double checked, because the confidence level is lowering, trust is lowering, and we cannot even say that these are the good contractors or these are the bad contractors. What do you think we can do to eradicate such occurrences in our society?
Okay, thank you, Jamila. So I will just take it from where my colleagues stopped. Another area where we need to work on to eradicate these collapses is in the area of quality of the materials. I mean, quality of the products in terms of the concrete this time around.
Okay.
The factor of safety we have on reinforcement is high. I mean, on concrete is high compared to the reinforcement. And why? Is because during the process of mixing and placement, a lot of irregularities, will occur in terms of the measurement of the water cement ratio, the sand, the cement. So this area, another area where we need to take a very closer look, as in paying attention to such details to be able to turn out good quality. Another area I want to us to look at generally in this construction industry is a time of supervision. Many a times when you want to go construct or place concrete for a particular structural element, you invite the government body, which is Lagos State Building Control Agency, in terms of Lagos this time around. They are supposed to come and do a stage inspection check and give you the approval to go ahead to see whether you have conformed to the design and you have done the right thing in terms of the placement of reinforcement, even to the tone of the support for your formwork. So all these things are very, very important, and the area where we can improve and eradicate this collapse here and there.
Thank you so much, Joseph. Like I said, the experience that we have on this table is not to be joked with. For those of you who have never been to engineering school, I'm sure by the end of this podcast, you'll be walking away with diplomas, thanks to these guys. And because I can even hear us getting technical, But let's go back to the questions. Now, I heard, we talked about, when Pius was responding, he talked about, unqualified engineers or engineers that are cutting corners. So let's just say quackery. Yet in this Nigeria, we have a lot of professional bodies that are supposed to supervise, accredit and ensure that their members are doing the right thing. So how can we ensure that we do not have quacks anymore on the streets, or at least in the industry? How can we ensure that these quacks are no more given the opportunities to do what it is that they are doing, because they are causing much, much more harm than any good to anybody? So Chinedu, can you just tell us how we can get quacks off the industry is there anything more that you think the professional bodies should be doing, for this to happen?
So there is so much that the regulatory bodies need to do. And quackery is everywhere. You can see draftsmen calling themselves engineers, building high rises, and people are living in those houses.
It's really unfortunate.
That is the height of it.
Yeah.
Because most times when someone comes and says, I want to develop a property, and I say, go and give it to so person. He did 3 bedrooms the other side. He did 3 stories there. At that point, he can do 10 stories.
Okay.
So, and without knowing the qualification, without knowing anything, so the right thing needs to be done. It's just like putting the square peg in a square hole. You don't need to engage anybody that is not a professional. Because what people do is because when they come, they say, professionals are expensive.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, what you have worked for years will go down the drain.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, not just the building, loss of life, and it's going to give a bad reputation to this country.
Exactly.
And also to the engineers who have spent years in the universities, come out, and someone who worked as a mason, overall, he turns to an engineer all of a sudden. And he's building houses for people that are sane, people that are graduates. So what the government needs to do is to make sure that there is a monitoring team.
Okay.
And the regulatory bodies make sure that while approving your drawings, the CVs that are submitted are the people that are on site doing this job. Because sometimes they submit CVs to approve a drawing and they go ahead to use wax to do this building. And another thing is we need to be sure that the person you are calling a draftsman, most times they call them architects.
Okay. So
not
we
knowing
also
that
have
he's
that.
a draftsman.
Yes.
And he has an office. So there is so much the government needs to do. The monitoring team needs to have so much to do. Even start going offices to see the people that calls themselves construction company has what it takes to be a company.
Construction company, yeah.
Because somebody can easily use one of his rooms to open a construction company. At the end of the day, he's answering engineer, but he has never seen the 4 corners of the university. So these are the things the government needs to do, and it's very key.
Thank you, Chinedu. I'll quickly move to Joseph. Joseph, you have been in Construction Kaiser for at least over 15 years, I believe, and you have exemplified yourself. I can attest to that in your in the projects that you have handled and all of that. So what can you say Construction Kaiser as a company is doing to ensure that building collapses do not happen in this industry? What is there anything special that Construction Kaiser is doing, to reduce this incidence of collapse? You can just share with us your experience.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, Construction Kaiser, as you said, in fact, I would say Construction Kaiser has exemplified herself, in doing a quality job.
Okay.
And what we do in Construction Kaiser is paying attention to details. We don't joke with, no matter how small that structural element is, we don't joke with the details of the structural elements to ensure that we do the right thing at every point in time. And we have a lot of checks and balances. The engineers on site supervising the structure itself is not the sole person handling the work. You still have a QA/QC engineer that will go and come and check every structural element before the engineer go ahead to the next stage of work. So that second, third level of checks has really helped Construction Kaiser over the years, start to turn out good and quality output in terms of our structures. And you can come to any of our sites, you will see that, we are not just saying it. In fact, our CEO will frown at anybody trying to cut corners in executing your job. So everybody is aware that we don't joke with the quality. We don't joke. Even to the tone of our workers, our laborers on site, we are even preaching to them that this is the reason why it is being done like this. So we have to follow through and through to get the right results.
Thank you, Joseph. Please don't be annoyed when you don't see them smiling. That's how that is their default. Okay. So now they are smiling. Okay, Pius. Pius, you have been on a whole lot of projects. I don't even want to call the number because some of you might not believe me. But is there anything special that you have done that has been a cause of success in the projects that you have executed in your about 18 years of experience? I don't know. Experience is a big deal for me. So
Thank you very much.
yes.
Yes. No projects are the same.
Yes. Every project is unique.
It's unique.
Yes.
Comes its own challenges.
Yes.
So project management requires progressive elaboration. So in the course of each project, sometimes you run into clients that are difficult. Sometimes the client might be simple. You, as a project man, needs to assist them to run the project.
Yeah.
Because if you lay back and say you watch your own part, then things will not flow.
Yeah.
So sometimes, in the course of the project itself, challenges normally comes. It could be during the substructure stage, foundation stage. So it is your duty because you want to finish the project timely within cost. So if there are areas, it could be a design thing where you've noticed that if you go with what you have that's approved, it's going to give you a problem in the future. So you bring it to the notice of clients. So clients, yes. So from the start, so clients now have an idea, then you brainstorm over it. You give them a guide. This is what we could do. So it has saved me a lot of times on projects.
So
I don't just run with what client has given. You need to be ahead of it. You understand?
So, Pius, you can say that you are a solution-driven person. You're
Definitely.
a solution-driven manager. So, when clients come to you, they know that you are a one-stop shop on, providing solutions to whatever it is that their expectations are.
Definitely.
Good one. Okay, so in rounding up, and I'll start from our COO, Chinedu. In 2 sentences, can you tell me what a formidable construction company should be like? What values do you think a formidable construction company should imbibe? Just in 2 sentences so that, we can wrap this up quickly.
So mine will be in 2 sentences.
2 sentences.
But the first one has to be professional.
Okay. So.
And when you say professional, as a company, you have to train.
Okay. Train 3 times.
3 times. Multiple times.
I know.
You don't need to relent.
I know.
So, because for you to be a professional, you have to have worked on projects. You have to have had series of challenges for you to learn.
Yeah.
So, as a company, you have to train. And when you want to hire the right people. Then the second one is to have integrity. Construction is a very, 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 very nice thing to do. Because when you are in construction, you have a Bible that you follow, which is your drawings, that has your specifications.
Yes.
Just follow your Bible, which is your drawing, and follow the standards of engineering, and you excel.
Thank you, Chinedu. For those of you that do not know, that in construction there's a Bible.
Yeah.
That Bible is our specification document and our drawings. Okay, and that Bible cuts across everyone. So everybody must study that document to be able to deliver whatever it is that they want to deliver. Joseph,
Yes.
2 sentences. A formidable construction company. How would you describe them?
Okay, a formidable construction company. I would say I see a company that has proper tools and equipment.
So resources.
Yes. Then another thing that I would say, I mentioned it earlier, paying keen attention to details. Engineer Chinedu mentioned about drawings and specification the other time. You need to read all your drawings properly. When you are reading your drawing, you have your structural drawing, the mechanical drawing, electrical drawing, architectural drawing.
Yep.
Even look at finishes while starting that structure.
Okay.
So all these are very, very important.
So at the start, you must know the finish.
Yes.
That's what Joseph has just said to you. So please, if you want to be a proper construction company, learn from these guys. Pius, over to you.
All right. For me, the human capital is actually what represents a good firm. So, how tough and how thorough the humans, the personnel that work for you,
Yeah.
also shows how thorough the company is.
Exactly.
So, for a company to be formidable, it means you be human capital development driven. You need to be able, just as my colleague said, your personnel needs to be top notch.
Yeah.
It means they're well informed of all the necessary innovation that we have in the industries. Because when they do well, they perform well on site, means you as a company, you're thriving.
Yeah.
That's what good. Because they are representing you wherever they go.
So the people are the company. That is what Pius is saying. Okay, Joseph, I'm going to quickly come to you. Chinedu had mentioned how the government can do what it is that they need to do to ensure that quackery is eliminated as best as possible. He has also talked about monitoring. He has talked about professional bodies. Would you say that there's anything more the government can do? And I know that you have had your fair share of interaction with the Lagos State government, LAPSCA, they are your friends, and I think that you are quite good friends. So is there anything that you will say that needs to be done more to actually ensure that these guys are off the industry?
Thank you, Jamila. I would say that what government needs to do in terms of punishing those that practicing these, irregularities in our society is first the people, anybody, any construction company or any individual that is found wanting in this regard, the license of the construction person or that individual should be withdrawn immediately. And because I don't see why, because until the government starts this drastic enforcement and they are saying that, okay, this is the implication, then people will be like, oh, Mr. A did it and he got away with it. I have my money. I can go away with this. So we'll not stop this until we get to that point where people are, and not just withdrawing their licenses, people should face jail terms, for this in the terms of saying 10 years, 15 years, so that other people will learn and know that, oh, I have to do the right thing at all time to be able to not to be in this kind of web. Thank you.
Thank you, Joseph. I would say that from the event of Banana Island, I did some research and I found out that the penalty actually for any developer or construction company that is involved in a collapse is actually 500,000 naira. And I think that is a slap on the wrist for any well-meaning penalty that is supposed to make a difference. I think that something has to be done. That particular penalty needs to be revised to, give something that would actually be a deterrent rather than, just, oh, okay, this has happened, we pay this. People are losing their lives. Families are losing their loved ones, their providers, and this is what is happening. I think that the government really truly needs to take a tougher stance on this, and hopefully we would get there. Okay. Chinedu, would you want to add anything to this point that Joseph has shared?
Yes.
Okay.
So my own opinion is I think the government should make this more interesting. I would say interesting in a way that, to eliminate quackery, because that was your question.
Yes.
Because when lives are lost, imagine 10-story building, 5-story building collapses, and you have over 20 people working there, and somebody will just go in for 10, 15 years. I think it should be a life sentence. And when one person is jailed, everybody has to learn.
An eye for an eye.
And everybody has to sit up. And when you know that when a building collapses, that you are going in for it, you won't see your loved ones just like the other people lost their own families. And when we talk about families, these are generations.
Yeah.
So the government there should be a law to give whoever that is, be you the contractor, the consultant, even the clients, to enable them choose the right people for their project. So they should go in for it and spend all their life in jail. No pardon.
Thank you. Thank you, Chinedu. I'm looking forward to the day when, our Nigeria would actually take these steps and we will mean it, because we definitely do need it. Pius, would you want to add anything to this?
I want to say that instead of being reactive,
Yeah.
let's be proactive.
Yeah.
Yes, because if by the time you are requesting to get an approval for a building and you submitted a list of CVs for the person you're going to use, once the government step in and they're monitoring, at that point, and they see that whoever is on site is not qualified, they should go ahead and enforce a penalty. If it means arresting the personnel on site, then sanctioning the company who that personnel is representing. So we don't need to wait until people lose their life. No matter what we do at that point, whoever is gone is gone. Yeah. So I believe let's be proactive. The government needs to be proactive about it. It's not about giving approval. They should be more involved in the execution of the work itself. That's what I believe.
Thank you so much, Pius. I think that I'm really liking this energy, this passion that you guys are bringing to the table, because it is really necessary, when a collapse happens, and we just need to ensure that the right thing is done.
Thank you for tuning into the Kaiser podcast series on applying world-class standards at the local level. We hope you've gained valuable insights and practical tips for improving the quality, efficiency, and effectiveness of your organization's operations and services. The podcast series is brought to you by Construction Kaiser Limited, impacting today towards a sustainable future.